Major Hurricane Gilma crossing the Pacific. Well, our first major hurricane of the East Pacific hurricane season this year, it is Hurricane Gilma. It took us to the G name before we got that Category 3. It is currently at 16.8 north, 124.4 degrees west, out over the open ocean. Quite an impressive looking storm, isn't it? Currently with winds of 125 miles per hour and a pressure of 955 millibars. That was the latest ATCF fix on it. We expect the National Hurricane Center will follow suit at their advisory in an hour. It's moving west-northwestwards at 5 miles per hour as of 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time this August 22nd. Well, the storm is near its peak intensity. It could just notch it up just a little bit more. Obviously, just a little push would give it Category 4 status. Right now, still a high-end Category 3. Fairly small storm with a wind field extending out up to 120 nautical miles. So far away from anything, of course, it's still closer to the Americas, but it is heading out towards Hawaii, so we've listed those locations here. 3,252 kilometers from Hilo, 3404 from Kahului, 3549 from Honolulu, 3706 from Lihue, and 4788 from Johnston Atoll. This storm could arrive in the Hawaiian Islands next week. There is another system ahead of it though, which will get there sooner and could also affect the islands, so there could be two storms affecting Hawaii. So it's too early to call whether Gilma will have substantial effects on Hawaii, so the highest likelihood is for dangerous sea conditions and rip currents, particularly on the Big Island. Of course, as far as Gilma's concerned and Hawaii, people will be more concerned about the other system that we'll delve into in a moment that's likely to become our first Central Pacific storm in nearly 5 years. But rip currents the main threat and rough sea conditions. So over the next few days, it's not even going to get to Hawaii in the 5-day period. It's a little bit later than that. So let's take a look at where it's going to go. It's moving northwestwards at first, then curves more westwards through the weekend. And by early next week, the wind field will start to fade away there. You can see the storm is clearly weakening. By the time we get to Wednesday, it won't be too far away from Hawaii. It's just about to reach 150 degrees there on that forecast. Well, right now there's decent agreement for 125 mile per hour winds supported by ADT from SSEC, although NOAA has fallen a little bit behind there. We haven't put the National Hurricane Center's advisory on this because it's old and they'll be updating it in an hour, but their last advisory did say 115 miles per hour, but that was 5 hours ago and the storm looks a little bit better compared to then. A decent estimate, 120 to 125 miles per hour definitely. That was the last National Hurricane Center cone, and pretty much what we were talking about there, the storm heading out towards the west over the next 5 days. Quite a large cone actually there, so there is still some significant wriggle room as to where exactly the storm's going to go. Further south would favor a stronger storm, and obviously if it goes further north, those sea surface temperatures are cooler. This is what the GFS model is showing. Gilma's in the middle. That hurricane to the left-hand side, that could be our Hone moving close to Hawaii. It has just been designated 1C. We expect they'll be calling it a tropical depression at the update, but I think it already has tropical storm force winds, so it could get named. That will be moving on towards the west. That will affect Hawaii first with storm force winds, maybe even a hurricane impact. And then of course we've got Gilma following in behind it, a larger system reaching the coast of Hawaii there towards the end of that 7-day period. Here's another view from radar reflectivity mock-up showing what it might look like. Gilma and 1C there, both stronger on their northern sides with more heavy rainfall, although Gilma really does fall apart towards the end of that loop as it gets towards the Hawaiian Islands, so there won't be very much left of it. I would say for Hawaii right now it's definitely going to be 1C that will have the bigger threat and we'll be covering that extensively starting later today. Towards the east, another system behind it becoming a strong hurricane as well. Look at that. That is the 70% chance that we've got behind Gilma, and all of that will trace large amounts of rain over mainly sea areas, but parts of the big island of Hawaii could see some significant rainfall, maybe getting up towards the 4-inch range on the eastern half of the big island. The other islands maybe not so much, unless the models, the storm track deviates. Possibly it could happen, but at the moment the other islands, and of course the larger populations, Honolulu for example, not looking like they're going to get that much rain, maybe 1 or perhaps 2 inches. But that is, as I keep saying, subject to change. Important to highlight that. So high rainfall below the storms themselves, and these are the sea surface temperatures. I'll do the conversions for you. These are the minimums you can expect: 25 to 26 degrees Celsius ahead of Gilma. That will be the main catalyst for the storm's weakening. For 1C, it's got decent temperatures around 26, maybe pushing 27, especially when it gets closer to the Hawaiian Islands, and all around there looking decent, but there is a little bit of a cool gap in between Hawaii and where Gilma currently is. So temperatures will be going against the storm for a little while. It's whether Gilma can hold on long enough to affect the islands. But right now it looks stunning. Here's the latest satellite imagery. It's still a little bit weak on the north and northwestern side, and perhaps a little opening there, but most of the storm is looking very impressive indeed. South and eastern side as well looking very good. Eye temperature well into the positives. I didn't actually get a probe on that eye temperature, but I imagine it's over 10 degrees Celsius. You can see a big gulf of dry air out west away from the storm, but in its immediate environment it's looking good for Gilma, and perhaps some more intensification is possible, although it is near its peak at the moment, and we do expect weakening to start within the next 24 hours. Here's some more imagery showing that big spiral around the eye there, the eye wall looking pretty good. Cloud tops into the -70s in a few spots. It could be better, and that's probably why we're still stuck at category 3 and not stronger, but still a very impressive looking storm when it presents itself there. We'll be getting daylight hours fairly soon, so we'll be seeing some visible imagery. You can check all of that out on the Force 13 automated stream. You can find that live on our YouTube channel all the time as we continue to watch this storm and all the others that are out there around the world. Of course, this system being the strongest, but 1C definitely has to get a big shout out because that could go on to affect the Hawaiian Islands more, and of course it is going to be our next named storm if it gets just a little bit stronger, and that name is what we've been waiting for years. There's going to be a crazy amount of activity amongst the weather community when that storm finally forms, because it has become a running joke. Here's some more imagery of these storms right now. Of course, Gilma in the middle, 1C moving off to the left there, entering the Central Pacific, and that other system off to the right looking quite decent as well, throwing up decent amounts of convection there. And just to show you the immediate area around Gilma, sea surface temperatures looking good, 28 degrees, but they'll start to cool quite quickly as it moves off towards the west-northwest.